Okay, tonight we have ATB with no A, Adam, no T, Timmy, no Scotty Dukes. We got B for Billy Rubber Shoes, and we got Mother Shoes and Little Shoes coming back, who's been missing for quite a while.
I'm 18 months or so.
Getting jacked up at the gym every day, so we can't take time
Hey,
to
I'm sorry. I'm
come
sorry.
talk to us. So this is the first time for Mother Shoes in a while, also,
Yep.
and so at every everyone's busy for some reason tonight or this week. I
I mean,
couldn't
everyone's
set up
busy every
with
week. We haven't had a full house in
anyone
who knows how
this week
long.
anytime. They were like out the whole week. So I gathered the troops, and here we are. All right, so we just had the All-Star break
Wait, hold
for
on.
basketball. Yep.
Hold on. Hold
Oh,
on. You're forgetting something.
uh-oh. What? Oh,
Huh.
so ATB at the buzzer, brought to you by AAA Work Trucks, your one-stop shop for all your
Okay,
work
someone's here
needs. If it
doing
goes
things.
in or on a vehicle,
Seriously.
AAA can take care of it for you. Give them a call at 866-783-6222 or check them out online at aaaworktrucks.com. Well, that was really botched. So
Let's hope
yeah,
Leslie's not watching
I
tonight.
know.
Jeez. Good
Well,
job.
let's hope we can actually get this posted on so someone can watch it other than us three just talking to ourselves. Okay, so we had let's start with the All-Star break and the skill, well, not so much the
Everything,
skills, but the
everything about All-Star
All-Star
Weekend.
events.
Well,
So mostly Saturday night. Saturday night, a 3-point contest and the dunk
dunk and
contest.
then the game, obviously. Sunday.
3-point contest. So Tyler, start us off with what your thoughts on the 3-point contest from Saturday night.
I mean, the 3-point contest, nothing really. That's the one where it's like consistent through and through. There's never like, oh, this year was like bad or whatever. Tatum had a decent showing. I was expecting him to win, so him almost making it to the final round was pretty uh nice to see, I guess. But Dame won, which you called the game winning, and I had Buddy Hield who made it to the end, but didn't do it.
Did I pick Tyler Hero? That's what I
Yeah,
picked,
Tyler
right?
Hero did pretty bad. I
Yeah,
think he had like 13, 14.
Yeah,
really.
was he the worst or was there?
Herder and Randall were really bad too. I think they were worse than
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Actually, Randall, I think, did decent. The only thing I don't like is the one so different from the original is you have the whole rack of money balls. So those are all worth 2 points each
Yeah.
instead
Which
of
if Tatum had picked his rack to be at the end, he probably would have made the finals, but he
right.
did it at the
And
front
then
for some reason.
those starry extra balls, which were 3-point balls, and I just did a lot of the All-Star game. They try to get too gimmicky, and
Too
that's
played
what
out.
ruined the dunk contest originally when they were getting way too gimmicky and trying to make um you know have too many different things into
I
it.
mean, for God's sakes, Blake Griffin dunked over a Kia because
Right. Yeah.
that I
Yeah, but
listen, side tangent, but that was 100% rigged. They
well, yeah.
that was yeah, that one was rigged.
But I think what also has ruined the is that none, like, back in our day, the actual stars did it. Like, do
That
you
too.
think if Jordan played in today's game, he would do it?
Probably not.
I don't think he would. That's what's part of the problem is a lot of the guys who should do
It
the
I
slam dunk contest don't.
Yeah. Ja Morant should be in it, and he came out and said he
Zion should be in it.
didn't do it. Zion
Yeah,
actually
they'll
said
never do it.
if he was healthy enough for 1 year, he might actually do it. But Ja straight up
Yeah,
said
good luck with
he
that.
wouldn't do it. So
I mean it. I
let's get to the dunk contest now.
yes, that's what I talked
Three
about.
point Dame won. It was
It's a 3-point
kind of
contest. It's gonna
exciting.
be the same thing
Contest.
every year, so
Right.
it's never
Yeah.
bad,
So
never
the dunk contest, the problem with the dunk contest in the recent past is that the the contestants they don't hit the dunks on their first try.
It's not
That's
even
the
that, but they've
biggest
been
thing.
picking people that aren't really dunkers. Cole
Right.
Anthony is not
Yeah.
really a dunker. I don't know how he was in last year's. And it also doesn't help that like so much has been done. It's hard to be creative. Because if you look at what got Michael Jordan and Vince Carter tens when they did it, if you were to do it in today's dunk contest, no one would care. because we've seen it before.
Well, I mean, the dunk from the foul line is still pretty
That's not getting a 10 now, though, is what I'm saying.
good. I mean,
No, I don't think
to
it
see
would.
someone try it.
Zach,
the
no,
thing
Zach
is,
Levine. Zach Levine
it-
won it because he did it from the free throw line. He did between the legs.
Yeah, right. Get a little more creative.
Yeah,
with that,
but you can only go so far with that. You know what I'm saying?
But I think
But-
so. We had a G leaguer, Mac McClung. He actually did sign a 2-way contract.
Who saved the
Sixers?
dunk
So,
contest, spoiler.
but there was a G leaguer in the skills competition. Also, Giannis's younger brother was in it from the G League. So I don't mind them open because
Alex, right?
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So the G League is under the NBA umbrella. It's like their farm system. So I don't mind them bringing them up and letting them.
They're technically like NBA players still. Like
Right.
it's under the same thing. I don't.
So anyone that says, "Oh, why did they let him in it?" Well, you know what? They let someone in it that really wanted to do it, and he,
And it was really good.
yeah. This was the first year that it's been really
Since
good
2020.
for a long time.
Since 2020, which even then it's
That Aaron
Aaron Gordon
Gordon?
got robbed.
Yeah, those, but so I saw the highlights of that year. Did Gordon hit those on his first try? Do you remember?
Yeah, Gordon. Both years he
Yeah.
had crazy things. He hit them all in the first try.
Yeah,
I don't even. Are you thinking of the? Was he in the blue jersey or in the?
yeah, I think the blue jersey.
Yeah,
jumped
that was
into the
20. That was
mascot.
2017 against Zach Levine where he
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah,
2020 was against Derek Jones Jr. and he lost, and that's when he dunked over Taco and D Wade gave him a 9.
yeah.
But that was a really good dunk contest too. And the guy who was against Derek Jones who ended up winning also did everything on the first try. And that was also the same year Pat Connaughton was in it.
Yeah.
He did pretty good too. He did like White Men Can't Jump and something like that. So that was a good year, but it just had a bad result. And since then I feel like it's just suffered. Because people don't want to do it because they saw what happened to Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon doesn't want to do it again.
Yeah, he definitely got screwed because his stuff was amazing, and how he didn't win, I don't know.
That one over the mascot under the legs is
Yeah.
I would say the greatest dunk in dunk contest history, and he didn't even win.
Yeah, I'd have to agree to that. That one was amazing. When I saw the highlights of that, when they were replaying it during the day leading up to
Right.
it,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, he jumped 2 legs up over the mascot
Who was on a spinning
under the leg, under the leg,
Yeah.
the ball and up and over. It was amazing.
and he was on the hoverboard spinning, so you had to time it.
Oh, yeah,
It's absurd if you haven't seen it, but
yeah. That's a shame he didn't win. So now we can go to the actual
We did-
game where
I was gonna. No, we didn't even talk about the actual dunk contest.
Yeah, you didn't even
What
talk
is-
about
yeah.
who won.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We just
I said
no,
Mac McClung.
you said he was
Oh.
in it and why people didn't want him to be in it, but then
Oh,
we didn't
okay.
talk about the actual thing. We were talking about why it's been bad in the past.
Yeah. Okay. So Mac McClung, the G Leaguer, wins the dunk contest. Amazing. He's only 6'2", and a lot of times they lie on their height, so he may even be a little shorter than that. And great first time. To the only guy who didn't hit him on his first try was Kenyon Martin Jr.
Which if he hit his on the first try, he would
He
have
probably
possibly
would have
won.
made it to
I
He
the
had
think
some
he
final.
really
would've
good
won.
dunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Miles. No, who was it? Jericho Sims. He was bad. The Knicks guy.
He did the
Oh, the Nick
he
guy.
did
Yeah,
the
he's
double dunk with his elbow.
Which would have been not bad if he didn't mess it up, but
He
Well,
Made
and
it
he
a
didn't
point.
even do it. He ended up putting his arm in
that's
after.
that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah. And then the one reading the thing.
That people were calling that the most embarrassing like dunk of all time because someone released like a fan footage where literally no one reacts, like everyone just stands there,
I saw that.
and then he pulls out the card that
oh.
says 50. It's so embarrassing. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say Mac. That's got to be one of the best dunk performances of all time. It's pretty crazy.
Which
I mean,
dunk did you like the best?
either
Which dunk of his did you like the
either
best?
the
I think
first
it's
one
first.
or the last one, the 720.
Yeah, I like the one
Yeah.
that went over the 2 guys and hit
Bounced
it
it,
up the
yeah.
back.
That was
board
his
and-
first one.
Yeah, that was that was
And credit to Trey Murphy, the
was
Pelicans
good.
guy. He was pretty good too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think any other year he probably would have won, but I think by the end he kind of realized he was screwed. It was a good moment for me because I'd been talking about Mac McClung for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I watched his like highlights in like high school and stuff, and he's always been like that, and like it was kind of like a if you know you know type thing, and if you don't, you're gonna know now. And
Yeah,
I mean,
good for him, and hopefully he
yeah,
gets a chance to
yeah,
try and play in the
yeah.
NBA, although it's for
In
the
a
team.
in a 1 week span, he signed with the Sixers, won the dunk contest, which the earnings he won from the dunk contest is more than he's made in his entire NBA career or
So
G
good
League
for
career,
him.
whatever.
Yeah.
And signed by Puma right after. So
Yeah,
good for him, you know.
yeah, and he got to he announced the did he announce the start of the All-Star game on Sunday?
I didn't
I know
catch
he
the
announced
beginning of
something
it,
on
so
Sunday night that he was that was good for him. I
yeah.
hope hopefully he's a really good kid and not like a jerk behind the scenes and he got all this, but because you kind of feel for a guy like that, that's been playing.
And also, I watched his like after the dunk thing, and he's very like because like the two kids he dunked over were his like kids friends from like middle school or whatever.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, oh yeah, we were up all night like coming up with ideas and all that.
Yeah. Although I really like Trey Murphy's first dunk where he got it stolen by Alvarado.
Yeah, that was very
That-
creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
'Cause at
good.
first, so he starts off. I'm thinking, oh great, here we go. He doesn't even take an attempt his first try. He bounces it and goes and catches. I'm like, oh, well, here we go. First dunk, and he's missing, and then that happened. I was like, oh, that was really creative.
And the windmill tomahawk was also very good.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely lost to McClung, but he was very close.
I mean, it's almost.
And I think
he could have had 50s all the way through, and he still probably would have lost.
Yeah, I think he got kind of screwed on some of his points also.
Yeah,
but that was good. And the All-Star game. Now, can we go to the All-Star game?
yes, we can.
That's why I don't
Yes.
like being the host because I
You forget stuff.
like talking about stuff. I don't like trying to direct the traffic.
You mediator.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean you just
Okay,
like to
so-
aimlessly go on about things that don't have anything to do with sports.
Yeah.
What are you drinking tonight, Bill?
Okay, All-Star game. So you probably watched. I watched the first half. I didn't see the second half.
I saw this like second half. So
Okay,
We watched the last quarter together
Okay, so
Yeah.
you probably saw.
because you got home and the last quarter was just
yeah, I
starting.
got home like I'd been watching the highlights at where I was, but I didn't get home till later.
And Tyler has proof. I did give credit to LeBron
He
on
did do that.
dunk.
It was a cool dunk.
When he threw it up behind the guy off the backboard and came up and dunked it. That was really good. But then Tatum did it to LeBron later in the game. I saw that. Did you see that his dunk that he did like that? He did-
I'm not. I
to
mean, he had
LeBron.
a good amount of dunks. I mean, spoiler, he had the most points in All-Star history, so there was quite a bit. I might have missed.
Oh,
some.
you ruined it, Tyler.
Yep, he got the MVP. He got most points scored in an NBA All-Star game, and he had his signature sneaker dropped in the same weekend. So that
Well, they didn't. They showed them. They haven't dropped yet, sadly.
well,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pink ones he had on
I
once.
something a couple weeks ago that weren't actually the one. I have a
They
feeling
were the same exact
those
shoe,
were-
actually.
Huh? Is it the
It's
same
funny.
one?
They leaked the shoe, and people didn't. I think it's because the pictures were bad, and people said
Yeah.
it was bad. And then Tatum went out and said, "No, those aren't it." And then now they officially release it. It's the exact same shoe.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it does look. It did look a little different.
It's
but-
just it was a different colorway, but if
Yeah.
you look at the two colorways, they're the exact same shoe that
Oh.
got leaked. Which hey, whatever. I think at first I thought they were horrible, and I think they're nice now. So I want the pink pair, but those don't come out till June. Which
I didn't mind the original ones that leaked out. I thought they were all right. I thought there was a lot more hoopla about them being awful. Like how like
I
I've seen
think it
a lot
happens quite
worse.
often where people leak and somehow the pictures are the worst quality taken pictures like of all time. And it happened with like I think one of the off-whites before, and people were like, "This is like the worst shoe ever." And then when it officially came out, everyone liked it. Oh no, it was the Unions. That's what it was. No one knows what I'm talking about, but you know.
Yeah. Well, there might be one person when you watch this back, Tyler.
Exactly.
That's
So my question is, does anyone have a problem that Jaylen Brown played and hasn't played for the Celtics? That he went and played?
I don't totally because it was his first one, and who knows if he'll ever get an opportunity again.
Did
I
he
mean,
need to go and play there though?
I have a problem with it. When Kyrie was on the Celtics, he did the same thing. He was out on injury, and his first game back was at the All-Star game, and so I have a little bit of a problem with it. And you know what? I didn't even realize how good a game he actually had because I was so focused on Tatum with the 50.
He had a really good game.
But he ended up, and he played for Team LeBron. Tatum was on Team Giannis. Team Giannis won, and LeBron hurt his finger, so that was good.
Yeah, it's not
He, like dislocated.
I think. But overall, though, like, do you? I mean, a lot of people are having an issue with the game at this point. Very similar to how things are with the Pro Bowl, which is not really.
So, other than baseball, all the other All-Star games have been kind of no defense and all the time. I mean, I do like how the first 3 quarters they play just a quarter to see who wins the quarter, so they win money for their charities, I believe. So that I think it's pretty. The first half of each quarter, it's they just kind of play around, and then the end of it, usually they're really trying to win it.
But even I watched the fourth quarter. They really weren't because the Team Giannis were up like 20 and they almost blew it because they. But also my issue
because at the end they kept chucking them up at half court trying to see if they could get them to win.
That's why they almost lost. And I think the main issue with watching it is if you're gonna play no defense, don't how do I word this? Because it kind of neglects what I just said, but like the whole no defense thing, I don't like. I felt like there was too many layups. Like if you're gonna just not try,
you wanted more ridiculousness.
Well, yeah, like just no one wants to see people running back to back getting uncontested free throws. I mean, layups the whole game.
True.
It's just not. But the dunking's good and all that, and that's what I. And it also seems Shai. It's Shai. Shai had a bit of a problem with how LeBron got hurt on that thing, because he's like.
He was actually trying to block it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Shai was like, he didn't try on defense for anyone else, but then I go up and he tries to block it or whatever. I think that's what he said. I could be completely misquoting, but it doesn't.
But I think in order for it to be better, they have to play defense because you want to see a matchup against LeBron against Tatum to see if he can stop it.
But the problem is,
they don't play defense, so the game's not going to be that good. Correct, I get it, but then play it some other time.
Yeah, they almost should just scrap these games because
the Pro Bowl's after the football season. The football season's over, so if those guys play and get hurt,
then guys will worry about getting hurt because they might be free agents and stuff like that.
Right? Yeah. No,
they're always gonna not play 100% because they're afraid to get hurt and have something happen.
Trust me, I liked it better when Lawrence Taylor was just decking guys in the Pro Bowl. But
I mean, Pete Rose steamrolled a catcher in an All-Star game. It was great back in the day. They actually came. Well, that also the other thing back in my day, there was less free agency. Guys weren't friends with everyone, so you actually didn't like
you wanted to stick it to people.
In baseball, the American League didn't play the National League at all, so you really didn't like the opposite league, and the only time you ever played them was in the World Series or in the All-Star game. So you really had a dislike for the other players. Everyone didn't have the same agents and go to agents parties. And I mean, Tatum, after he lost last year, he was out, I think it was at a wedding with Draymond Green, and they're all hanging out.
Yeah, after the finals.
And it's like that wouldn't happen. Yeah. 20, definitely 30 years ago that would have happened. But
plus, and I was onto that point. Like nowadays, like they're all friends. So if you see, if Tatum sees LeBron getting a breakaway. And he's going to try to do a crazy dunk. He's not going to try to stop him because he doesn't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the other thing, I think at least because basketball is different because it's in a different time of the season. But I feel like for football, they've kind of basically given up and they're doing the flag football now. But I honestly feel they should change it to having the bottom two teams play each other and the winner gets the first round pick. Because at least there's something to play for.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a real game.
It's something, I don't know. Like
Yeah,
it's just I mean, obviously like they're the two worst teams and all, but at least
Right.
it's something to watch. I don't know. Or at least add it to it so there's an actual game because there's no stakes in anything.
All right, so on to the next subject that is near and dear to my heart is, so if anyone hasn't noticed, there was no professional sports teams playing last night.
Oh God, here we go,
No
Tyler.
professional sports teams in this area playing tonight, and both the Celtics and the Bruins are playing tomorrow night. Both of you don't really
I've
care.
heard this man talk about this on this
Tyler
platform
just
for a
cares
year
about basketball, and Mother Shoes just cares about hockey. So it's like, you don't care. I like to watch both of them. I know I end up falling asleep anyway.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I was
don't
gonna
really watch
say,
either.
how much watching of any of this do you do?
It'd
You're
be,
asleep.
I like to watch the first quarter and the first period, of one
Wow,
game, not
Gotta record this stuff.
flipping back and forth.
that's a good night that he's gonna watch the
Yeah.
first quarter of both of them.
It's more like the tip off and it's over.
But I mean, seriously, I don't understand how the owners let this happen. Like this year, I don't know if it's just because I talk about it all the time now, but this season seems like it has happened a ton. And you would think that the owners of each sport, each team, want the revenue of people watching. It doesn't really matter people going to watch live because only one's going to be home anyway. But
Correct. But Bill, your argument is if
advertisers
they're
pay-
at home, they're gonna make the money they need to
Right.
make because
But-
people aren't gonna,
No, but
crap.
it's
the
more the
Celtics are on tonight. I
advertising.
can't go to this
So
hockey game.
on TV, they have to pay the advertisers. On radio, they pay the advertisers pay, and they pay for a product to advertise on, and they're not getting the amount of people that they should if they're
Bill,
only game going on every night.
Bill, when we watch a game, how many commercials do you watch?
Just the one I'm in.
Right.
I
And
know, but
another
true.
And it's
Other
a
thing
thing
is-
called DVR. Hello. If you're really that concerned, you DVR one
Why
game
do-
and you
why do
watch one live.
Why do these companies pay for advertising if most of the people are flipping
I don't, you know.
between?
It doesn't. You're making way more of a bigger deal than this.
I
These
I would
agree
rather
on
just
this.
have to worry about watching one game and not flipping back and forth.
Plus, I think the thing is like, if you're thinking about the schedule makers and how much they already have to take into account,
Yeah.
then every single team in the NHL would have to then consult with the teams in their city to look at their schedule. They're not going to do that.
And then
It's
how many
way
times-
too
so then-
overcomplicated.
You have to look at, okay, right now there's only 2 teams. Well, spring training's around the corner, and guess what? Now baseball plays
Yeah.
almost every friggin' night.
And they're not
you're
going to
gonna-
go.
You're not
can't
going to go
control
around
that.
that, but you don't schedule up against football on Sunday during the football season. You try
But
not
they-
to.
Yeah,
or it
but
would be smart
they
not
still
to.
do. It's
Once
one of those
in a
like,
while, but-
yeah, preferably they wouldn't want to be, but it's not like a big enough deal to where they're gonna.
Once football season's over, it's like NBA takes front stage on Sundays. I
Yeah,
don't-
but
it's-
Bill, it's also they have to, like Tyler just said, you have to worry about if you're in Boston or cities that have multiple teams. You just have to make sure that you're in your home.
You have somewhere
court
you can
and-
play, yeah.
Yeah, that's more of their concern, not like, oh crap.
'Cause
the
then if
Celtics
they're
are in
like, oh,
Detroit tonight,
okay,
so we can't
so-
do this.
So what used to happen
Oh boy.
is NBA was normally a Friday night. Like the Celtics would play every Friday night. Bruins would play every Saturday. That was like a given growing up. Like that, those were the nights that those teams played. You can split it up pretty easy where, NBA, you play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and NHL, you play Saturday, Thursday, Tuesday.
They're like
No.
the NBA is not going to damage their own schedule to try to work with a different organization. It's not going to happen.
And not only that, but you got to figure that they make most of their money off of TV deals. So not like you're going to go to TNT, who has basketball, and be like, oh, we got the Bruins are on tonight, so we're going to have to bump you to another. They can't do that. It's a minor inconvenience.
Yes.
That you make way bigger deal out of.
Like like I said, the NHL is not going to sacrifice their own
nothing to watch tonight
situation to then say, oh, let's change our entire landscape so then people don't have to watch basketball the same night. It's like if you want to watch basketball, you watch
Bill Corey's not inconvenient.
You want to watch basketball,
and doesn't fall asleep like this.
If you happen to be watching this episode, other than us three, I would love for you to comment on whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, wherever it's posted, and you watch it. Please comment. Let me know if I'm making a big deal about it over nothing, or if
say no.
Feel that it's the same thing, that it's ridiculous having them on the same.
And also, like, the demographics, I feel like it wasn't like this then, but now it's very different. Like, I feel like most people my age don't really watch hockey, or other than in Canada, where like I don't know. I feel like most people like.
No, I think
they're gonna turn like me
that play hockey, watch hockey, and kids that play basketball watch basketball.
Yeah, it's
like,
not that much of like. There's not many people that are like both like, I need to see this game and I need to see this NHL game. It's usually like one or the other. Except you're the minority there.
Correct, because it's like now most people have an enjoyment. They may be a sports fan of all the sports teams in their city, but you have preferences.
Right.
Like I would prefer to watch the Bruins over watching the Celtics.
Right.
Whereas there are people out there who would prefer to watch the Bruins and the Celtics over the Bruins, and you pick one, and it's not you check in on the other game, and it's not that life altering.
That's I was talking to Joey today about that, where so he's a diehard Celtics fan. If Celtics are up against the Bruins, he's watching Celtics 100%, and Steph, you're watching the Bruins over the Celtics. But so tonight Bruins are on, you're watching the Bruins. There's nothing up against it. Tomorrow night Celtics are on, you're watching the Celtics just because you're a sports fan. You have it on, and they're getting ratings, and that's what they sell to the advertisers is their ratings. If you're sharing the ratings in a night, like you're going to have the diehard Bruins fans are just going to be watching the Bruins, diehard Celtics fans are just watching the Celtics, and then you got the idiots.
This is so overcomplicated.
No, so that's what I said. Comment. Let me know what you think out there. Am I making a big deal?
I don't know. I promise you, like, NBA owners aren't thinking like, oh my God, like, people are gonna watch the hockey game tonight instead of
I'm sure
they're confident.
No one's gonna see these commercials. What are we gonna do? You realize their money's generated from TV deals.
But they're selling to the advertisers their ratings. Like, okay,
yes, they're still getting.
We get this many viewers, but they're being lied to.
Also, like, it's not like. It's the NHL. Okay, they're established enough to where they don't have to
people can comment. Let me know what you think.
So, Bill, just say we'll go with regular TV programming. What if I happen to love Grey's Anatomy and Grey's Anatomy is on the same night that the Bruins are on? Oh no, what am I gonna do? It happens not
You're
just
watching Grey's Anatomy. You're not watching the Bruins.
I wouldn't be caught dead watching Grey's Anatomy. You know that. But do you see what I'm saying? Yeah, it works on so many different levels.
Yeah, no, yeah.
The advertisers aren't worried about it. And your world, only one thing would be on the TV.
Correct.
Don't conflict with anything else.
You're not even taking into account. You're acting as if
as
people only watch watch the Celtics are only going to watch the Bruins. There's like 18 other shows they might watch.
There's a lot of sports fans that watch both, and you're making them choose every night they play against.
And you know what happens? They get over it.
All right. Okay. So let's
rock, paper, scissors.
Move on to Okay.
Do we have anything else?
Second half of the Bruin. I mean, second. It's actually not true second half, but they always say, after the All-Star break, it's the second half of the season. So the East really hasn't done much except for, Miami Heat will be picking
Toronto.
Love, right?
Toronto. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're talking basketball.
Yeah,
I thought we moved on.
No, we'll finish talking basketball. Looking forward to the second half of the season for the Celtics. They still have a roster spot where if someone gets bought out, they can still sign. But I think most of the big names, although I like some of the guys that like Westbrook, I wouldn't touch him.
I disagree. I feel like he makes the Clippers a better situation.
Yeah, that
Just 'cause-
remains to be seen.
The thing was with Westbrook at first was that he was getting, starter Westbrook minutes like he was in his prime, and he wasn't performing as well. But since they made him the sixth man on the Lakers, he was actually playing very well.
Yeah, he's done
And
better.
I think he was starting to understand his role. And I think him at that role can be an asset to any team. And I think that the Lakers were kind of still trying to blame their issues on Westbrook, even though it wasn't really his problem anymore. And also, it's capped. I think he's going to have I don't think he's going to be a total ball hog or anything like that. I think he's going to have that similar role with the Clippers. And plus, he's going to LA, the other LA team. I feel like he'd probably want to stick it to the Lakers and be like, hey, look, you guys moved on from me. And now look at me. I'm bringing the Clippers to a finals. You know what I'm saying?
True. The West got a lot better with Durant going out
so much
there,
better.
Kyrie going out there. So the East actually,
The East, like I said before, I feel like it's a cakewalk for the Celtics.
Only one team got worse in the East. Everyone kind of stayed the same.
Right.
Brooklyn's out of it now.
I think they'll still make the playoffs though.
But they're
not gonna
worried about them in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I wasn't worried about Brooklyn even with Kyrie and
I was because they were
You
playing.
never know.
I thought they were our biggest threat before KD got hurt because they were playing very well together. Oh, 100%. They were on fire. They were like right behind us before KD got hurt. They were finally clicking and getting together. That's why I was so shocked that they blew it up.
But they can never stay healthy.
And
then Kyrie has a fit and he's gone for like a month or two because.
I understand all that, but I'm saying if they were able to get past that, they were
the hardest time with Miami.
Miami might not even make the playoffs though, so
that'll be good. But
I'm not worried about I'm still worried about Giannis.
The Heat are very much like recently I've noticed are kind of like the Red Sox, where it's like NBA Finals appearance and then they like first round playoff elimination. Then it's like Eastern Conference Finals and then it's like miss the playoffs. They're very like that.
Up and down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously. And then, Giannis and the Bucks are still a threat, but after, us taking them to overtime with our bench, I'm not really concerned anymore.
We seen them match up pretty good against them, even if they have Middleton back.
Yeah. They gave us a hell of a fight last year, but
I know it went 7 games, but
they didn't have them.
I think that was more the Celtics. They couldn't figure out. It's like they were Jekyll and Hyde. One game they played so good, and then the next game they'd be horrible. So I think if they figure it out, I think they're a better team this year, and they're a lot deeper.
And I think a key last year with what happened to them. I don't even think it like credit to the Warriors. Like I think Wiggins was really good on Tatum, but I think a major key in us not winning was fatigue. Definitely. Whereas like the Warriors fleeced the Mavericks and got like a week off, whereas we may have swept them, but the games against the Nets were like hard fought games. Like it's not like we were fleecing them every game. It was down to like 1 or 2 possessions, most of them. And then we went 7 with Milwaukee and we went 7 with Miami. Those were all really tough series for us. So I think we were kind of just worn out, where I think now we have an opportunity to be able to be the Warriors like last year and be able to get these things done quickly and be able to have rest.
They learned a lot last year that
Correct.
You can't let these other teams hang around. Just come up, because there was a couple times you're like, okay, they killed them the last game. Come out, just
I thought they were going to be able to destroy the Heat, but no,
they just couldn't put the teams away. I think I think we'll see a better playoff team for the Celtics.
Plus,
this year.
and I think a lot about last year was just getting over the hump of the Eastern Conference Finals because they hadn't been able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think now
I
hopefully
think it was
should
just
be.
it was inexperience
Yeah,
and
exactly.
not really knowing. And Warriors have been there
Although
and
they've
done it how
been-
many times?
Right.
They knew how to take care
Yeah,
of
true.
business.
Which it also makes me feel good. There's always a chance, but I don't think there's any chance really that the Warriors are going to make the finals again. So
I don't think so because isn't Curry out for a while?
yeah, but even when they've had Curry, they've been a problem. The
Yeah,
problem with
they've
the
been a
Warriors is that now it's to the
mess.
point where they're in a really bad spot where they either need to commit to the guys they've had for the last 10 years for like 5 more years, or get rid of them and commit to their young guys. Because they have a really good young core, but they can't get minutes. And it's kind
Yeah,
of just throwing them in a bad position.
they're in the, like how the Celtics were when they had the big three and they couldn't move on
Correct.
from Larry Bird and Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, and they stuck with those guys too long,
Yeah.
and then they got old, and then
Because I feel like
you had to wait.
if the Warriors get rid of or were to move Draymond and Clay and focus on Poole, Moody, and Kuminga, they'd be in much better shape.
Yeah.
And
No.
when they had Wiseman, but Wiseman's gone now.
All right.
Anywho,
Move on to the Bruins. They're so the trade deadline is next Thursday, I believe. They haven't done anything yet. Other teams have been making some moves.
well, supposedly I can't pronounce that guy's name. The defenseman.
Oh, yeah, the Russian defenseman, the Gobach.
So supposedly, from what I've heard, that they're getting him. They just need to clear cap space.
Oh,
And they can't seem to figure out how to do that because I don't think they want to part with anyone. And that's a problem.
yeah.
So, but
they definitely, that's what I thought they needed the most is another defenseman to shore that up.
yes, because you can't rely on Carlo, you can't rely on Grizzlick. I'm sorry, you have Lindholm and you have McAvoy. And
Yeah.
then what?
I mean, so if this guy comes in, he's going to be on the second pair with, I think Grizzlick it'll either be Grizzlick or Clifton on the second pair. And then the third pair, you're going to have Grizzlick and, crap.
You
What
want to
was-
say Hal Gill, don't you?
No. Yeah. So it'll either be Clifton or Grizzlick, Carlo, which if they're your last two pairs, so you get rid of Forbor, that's a pretty solid defensive core you have there. And
Yeah, but see, I like Forbort better than I like Grizzlick.
Yeah, I highly doubt. Well, I would be surprised if Grizzlick, Carlo, or Clifton are the ones left out. And also that puts pressure on them that if they have a bad game, a bad couple games, then Forbor is sitting there waiting to play. So that gives them the coach a little ammunition there. It's like, okay, if you don't step up, if you play soft, Carlo, then we'll put Derek Forbor in. So I think that's a good problem to have. And Pasta should break 50. Now I just jinxed him. So Pasta should get 50 goals. He's going
to get
41
49 now. Good
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, 41 with 2 months to go. Should do it.
I was surprised he's only one behind Connor McDavid. I was
Well,
shocked by
He
that.
was, and then I think Connor had like 2 or 3 goals that it's like the other day. So he's like 3 or 4 ahead of him now.
So it had to have been last night.
Yeah.
Because they played on Monday, so it had to have been last night.
Yeah, it was. I saw it when I saw it at the gym. They showed McDavid.
Yeah. My greater problem is they haven't signed Pasta yet.
I think they're almost afraid to do it during the season.
I don't care. That's my greater problem with all of this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Just kind of focus on this season, and the off season could be really bad for the Bruins. So they better win it this year because Krejci, Bergeron, they're on the fence. They're just on 1-year deals. They could be gone after this year.
See, I think Krejci's going to be
Pasta.
gone after this year, but I don't think Bergeron's going anywhere. I think he's taking these 1-year deals to help them out money wise.
Yeah.
I don't think it really is his
What do you
playing
think,
time.
Tyler, about the Bruins?
What?
Exactly.
What?
All right, so now we're gonna move to the best topic of all. The Red Sox start spring training games this weekend. Friday they play their annual game against Northeastern, and then they
I
start
think they can win.
regular games on the weekend. Although they're not gonna have their full lineup
Pretty bad
because
excuse.
of the World Baseball
Yeah,
Classic,
exactly.
which is
They don't want to put the full lineup up there, and then when they lose, they have to go, oh, well, we're just limiting them to. Because, sorry.
God, I'm so like, I'm not like the biggest baseball person to begin with, but I'm so just do not care. Like, there's just no excitement going into the season. I just like, I
Red Sox
honestly
are-
just want it to be over with at this point already.
I know. It's so disappointing, too, because, like,
I'll go to a game,
going
eat
to
a
the
Frank,
Red
and move on
Sox-
with my life.
going to a game in the summertime is just so great, and just having it on and listening to it, and it's just going to be one big depression-filled
9-1.
crap
So,
fest.
10-1.
I saw something posted a couple days ago, and so they had three or four tiers of teams, and they had teams that were gonna make a push for the World Series, and teams that were definitely in the playoffs, and the Red Sox were one of the teams that they expect to make the playoffs this year.
Stop
Well,
it.
why do
Stop
we
it.
care what one random
Stop
person
it.
thinks?
So
Stop it.
The thing is, they have players that they potentially could have a decent year, but there's almost every player is a what if. Like what if they, Cassius comes out and hits 25 home runs and batting 270? What if Chris Sale comes back and is, his prime self again at 20 game, every player is what if. So they need it, other than Devers is probably the only thing that you're kind of guaranteed is gonna do something. Everyone else is if he bounces back, if he does well after his injury, if they have so many questions, but they have players that have done it in the past. So it's how many of them click, and have decent seasons.
See how Tyler's like falling asleep during this conversation? That's basically what the whole season's going to be like for the Red Sox.
I know.
Like, I don't know. Like, even
I'm hopeful. I don't want them to ruin
I know.
my
See,
summer
this
already.
is this is the thing. You're sitting here and you're like, well, what if this guy? You're trying to convince yourself that you think
that is the first stage of
No.
denial.
It is. It's fact.
No, you have a point. It's just even if we perform how we're supposed to, it's not like we're gonna be like a World Series push. Like, maybe we sneak into the playoffs and get absolutely destroyed. A big whoop. I really don't care.
So
I don't think
See,
they're
that
making
is
the
the face of
playoffs.
denial. I see it. I
No,
see
but
it. You're gonna try to spin this.
Baseball's one of those one of those sports that, as long as you make the playoffs, you have a chance.
Bill,
So
Bill,
if
Bill,
they
Bill,
make the playoffs, they have a chance.
Bill. You see what happened last year, okay?
Yes.
Okay, you saw what happened to the team last year. They were in last place in the division, correct? Baltimore Orioles
Yep.
finished before them, right?
Yes.
Okay. We got worse.
No, we didn't get worse.
How did we not get worse?
So last year's team was kind of the same thing. They had a lot of guys that had bad years. It was,
But we have
they were
those
pretty
same
much the
people.
same team,
I'm
other
saying
than-
on paper we're worse. But
I mean,
for
last
sure,
year they had so many injuries in the pitching that
this is true.
they had 3 rookies start like
Who's
5
our
or more
pitching staff?
games
Okay. Who's our pitching staff?
this year.
Yeah, this
Chris
year.
Sale,
Okay.
which
so
is made of. He's the
Dale
Anthony Davis,
Whitlock,
the
Hope.
MLB.
Dale Whitlock, Hauk, Bayo.
Bayo, did you not hear about him?
Oh, I guess not.
Oh, you don't. Right. So he had to be shut down because he's already starting to have soreness in his arm.
Oh, great.
And it's February.
Why you
Tanner
even-
Houck is coming back from back surgery.
Chris Sale is Chris Sale.
is coming back from falling off a bicycle.
All right, so how about them Patriots? Let's get that. So
What is that? What?
can I have some hope for baseball season? You know, it could, doesn't I don't have
Like
to.
I've said on this show before, it makes everything easier if you just come in with the expectations you're supposed to. Because then even if they do outperform, then your low expectations get risen.
Yeah.
Instead of
Like
every
It's a
year
pleasant-
going in
the season.
with
It'll
your
be a pleasant
expectations like this,
surprise.
and it just goes
Oh, I'm
crashing
not.
down.
No, I'm not expecting them. I'm just saying that
No,
The
no.
players they
You were just
have-
talking like they're going to make the playoffs.
no, I was just saying that was what was posted. There was
things.
I saw a post that said that they're one of the teams that
That
would make the playoffs.
that is the
They're one of
internet,
the
okay?
teams that- Not a
I could
bubble-
post on the internet that I think
Oh,
that
it was like
the
from
Falcons are winning the
MLB.
Super Bowl
It
next
was-
year.
It, was,
It doesn't mean it's
the-
factual.
No, it was either MLB or ESPN.
Zach Jones
or
is going to
something.
break that single season touchdown record, Tyler.
It was
Put
an
it
actual-
online. Dad'll read it.
No, we'll see. That's what makes watching them interesting. You know, I don't have high expectations, so if they
They're harder than they should
do,
be.
but they do have players on the team that have potential to be pretty well. It's just they have every player on the roster other than Devers that has to overperform what they did last year. That's the thing. You know, they have guys
Oh, Bill.
done it in the past, but
I love your
whatever.
optimism,
Okay,
but
so on that note, I know Tyler wants to go play basketball, so we'll wrap this up. And it's the 2-on-1. This is the 2-on-1.
I was just gonna say,
show.
I heard in my head like, damn, wow, it's really coming out.
you know what Tyler was going to say? I can't believe he didn't mention it earlier. I was actually shocked.
Yeah.
What?
Well, it didn't get
The
that
two
bad
against
until-
one.
Oh no, I
that
thought
bad
about it
until
in
we
my head.
started talking about baseball. That's why. So, all right. So
Bless you.
for
I'm good,
ATB
I'm good.
at the buzzer, we have Little Shoes, Tyler Corey, Mother Shoes, Stephanie Corey, and Billy
Full
Rubber
names.
Shoes Corey. Remember to listen
Red
to
Sox
my,
optimist.
my Rubber Shoes wrap up on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok,
You got snapped.
Facebook.
But also,
can-
by the way, my
Snap
friends like
face.
I keep getting sent your TikToks by my friends. I had no idea you were even doing it, and they're like, "Look what popped up in my thing." I have no idea why. I'm like, I didn't even know he knew how to use that.
Well, I started probably about a month ago.
I don't even use it.
Posting them. I just use it for ATB. That's
I
it.
mean, hey, go for it. But
So for all of the shoes for Adam, Timmy, and Scotty Dukes who couldn't be here this week, we look to have you subscribe, share all our different social media sites, and keep listening and watching. And we're gonna fix we're having trouble with posting the stuff on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're still working on that. I know we had one episode a couple weeks ago that we got up there, but we're missing like 20 episodes on the podcast.
Who's in charge? Who's the head of
That's-
IT
So
around here?
Adam is in charge of that stuff. So I talked to him when it was just him and I on the show, but that week we recorded it like how we're recording it this week. So this week should actually make it onto Spotify and all your podcast streaming.
I feel like I already know how to fix that. Thinking about, but you know, it is what it is.
All right. So until next week, have a good night.
Good night.
Oh,
Take care.
God.